What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. I'm so excited you guys are here for me for a late night show. I know it's later than usual, but we have our West Coast friend with us. Also, there are 12,000 new subscribers to the channel.
Wow.
Thank you guys for coming through. Okay, if you don't know who I am, I'm Ericka Williams, author of the Smartphone Millionaire book, How to Invest in People, Businesses, and Real Estate from the Palm of Your Hand. You can grab it on Amazon. And for those of you who bought it, over 300 of you bought it this past month, give me some reviews, baby. Help a girl out. Anyways, introduce yourself. None other than Mr. Todd Millie. Give him your government name. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, so my name is Charles Oglesby, also known as Todd Millionaire. Founder of Todd Capital Investment Fund, founder of Todd Investments, Todd Acquisitions, looking to do some really cool things. We are doing some really cool things in the Michigan market, investing long distance. We literally manage rental properties, manage rehab from out of state from our cell phone and our laptop. So I think that a lot of people, that's one thing that I don't really talk about much, but that is a feat in itself, is the fact that we literally do not exist in the state, but we make money in that state. So doing that, and then also got the full-time job, um, working in law firm, and then pursuing an MBA as well. So I'm doing a lot, 10x for sure. Also the Thai Capital Millionaire podcast, so many different things that we're doing, but yeah, that's who I am.
Look, you guys, listen. I asked Todd to come on the show for an interview about 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago. And
Yeah,
okay, so yeah, I mean,
we can't
so
even manage so much going on.
So the thing of it is the most important thing I want you guys to understand is taking action. I'm literally doing a VIP thing May 18th in the DC Baltimore area. I have another event coming in September in the DC area and June 29th because so many of you are like, yo, let's partner, let's reach, let's connect. And I want that for you. Now I am going West Coast in July, and then I'm going to Chicago in July, but there's a special trip. We'll keep that secret for now. And I have to give a shout out to Ottoman, the Talking Drums Entertainment, Charles Ogleby. He gave us a $50 super chat.
Nice, nice. Thank you. That was quick.
Boom, we just got on. There's 83 people in the chat. Go ahead and hit the like button, you guys. You guys are amazing. Okay, so if you don't know, Charles Ogleby, I usually call him Todd Millie on the show. He wrote a blog, and I had to share it because I found it to be not just entertaining, but a perfect example of why um, Grant Cardone and Dave Ramsey are going to be billionaires. Now, many people say, Ericka, that's silly, but seriously, Grant Cardone and Dave Ramsey doing exactly what they do will become billionaires because of people. Prime example, like Tisha Campbell. So I'm going to share the blog with you guys, and then I'll let Charles give us his kind of review of it. But essentially, here it is. I hope you guys can see the screen. Put a one in the comments if you can see the screen. Todd Millie's screen got Coachella. This is the best he can give us from his screen, you guys. It got Coachella. So again, this blog you can find on capitaltodd.com. Essentially, Tisha Campbell, damn Gina, from Martin, and Dwayne Campbell have a negative net worth of $15 million, and they're not even athletes. Okay, they're movie stars. Well, at one point were. This is fact check, Lady T. This is absolutely fact check. This is actually their bankruptcy documents. All this is their bankruptcy documents. This is public information. Essentially, they are 15 million in the hole, and said their dogs were worth $2. I mean, it was hilarious when you read over it. And there's links everywhere. You can Google this all for yourself. They're going through a divorce, and so they are negative 15 million in the hole, but they get $7,000 coming in a month. And I said this played to the bigger narrative of credit card debt, lack of investments. Now they do have one or two real estate investments, but for $15 million, they need to have like 20. Okay. But I definitely want you to kind of give a review on it, Charles.
On the article or on just
On the article. Yeah. You wrote
right.
it.
So yeah, I think that the biggest thing, and one of the points I was trying to make is that they aren't really the exception; they're the rule. And I was sitting here and I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about how um, pretty much anybody that you know that has a luxury lifestyle, which is a lot of people. A lot of people are driving the Benz, they have the red bottoms, they have the Louis, they have that. But if you don't have the assets to substantiate that, you are a Tisha or a Dwayne. And honestly, I think that that's probably 95% of us, unfortunately. Um, so I kind of talk about how we kind of have to. I used to. I feel like there's other cultures who they do this exclusively. They literally reject the idea of buying flash and buying luxury. And one of my favorite quotes in the Robert Kiyosaki theory series is that assets buy luxuries. And if you want a luxury, you have to create or build or buy an asset to fund that luxury. And so for me, it's just an obvious showing of just misaligned, what do you call it? Priorities.
Mhm.
So
Hold
that's
on,
kind of one thing that I look
Todd.
at.
Do you have
Yeah, you
AirPods?
want
Hold on. Do you have AirPods on or actual earphones?
I have AirPods. That's all I have right now too.
Okay.
I think we went through this before too.
Yeah, I mean I can hear you, but I just want to make sure everybody can hear you. Make sure you turn it up, you guys. I think he's at a
AirPods are
Starbucks.
tough.
Huh?
Yeah, AirPods are definitely tough.
Okay. But yeah, $7,000 a month to me, I hate to say it, but like the average American's getting around 3,000 a month. So they're getting double income wise, reoccurring income than the average American. But look at how they're spending it though.
Right, and I think that that's why, in a lot of ways, we always talk about like it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And so you can be broke and make 200 grand. You can be broke and make 100 grand. You can be broke and make 40 grand. It's really a matter of what you're using your money on doing. And one of the things that really just stood out to me is obviously they're living above their means. They're living well above their means, but it was how they were living above their means. And they were living above their means in a way that shows, hey, I have money, I drive a range, I have these watches, I have these purses. And for me, I feel like that's the issue is you have a culture where that's what we value. You have a culture where we value the look of wealth, not actually having wealth, meaning that you have people who work a day job and they still have all these different brands. And I feel like that's why I always talk about the priorities are messed up. Instead of aiming to get meaning homes or trucks or businesses or all these different things, we're going to continue to lose. And so that was kind of why I was speaking to that. Like, yeah, they're spending more than they're making. Yeah, people like Dave Ramsey, they're going to rack up all this credit card debt. But it speaks to a deeper issue where you have these people who are hurt, who are hurting, who don't feel like they're valuable. So they have to put brands on their body to feel like they're valuable. And that's the problem is it's kind of like the Aisha Sutton meme. We're hopping over right to balling. We're not doing all the middle steps. We're just hopping to balling. We're hopping to red bottoms. We're hopping to Louis Vuitton. And that's kind of what stood out to me about that article.
Oh, for sure. So in the article, as you guys can see from the video right here, they made, not like together. People asking, is it each? Nah, together they made 7,600 a month and they spent 17 grand a month. Now, this isn't a surprise to me because you had, what's her name, just went through bankruptcy court, Little Kim. Little Kim receives $33,000 in royalties a month, but she spends $50,000 to $80,000 a month. And so the judge was like, if you could just get your spending under control, you could live well the rest of your life. So, it's not even the argument of rappers and musicians don't make no money. There's some that are making money, but what are they doing with the money?
But and still, that's a large example. We're talking about people who make $40,000 to $50,000 a year, make $20,000 to $30,000 a year.
For sure.
And the reason why their credit's not good, the reason why they don't have enough money to save and invest is because they have the same habits. They're spending more than they make.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, like prime example, people used to say I was a hater on this channel. I would go to Chipotle. I kid you not. And the workers at Chipotle were parked, they were parked too close to the building, right? They're supposed to be parked further out, but they're close. And it was 3 dudes with brand new Camaros. Now, I say what you will. I love Chipotle, but Chipotle pays like $12, $13 an hour. Am I wrong, Charles? Am I wrong?
It's not much money.
Right? So you'd have to basically have roommates. You'd have to be living with your parents. You'd have to be doing something in order to even make that make sense. Can you hear me? Did we lose you?
I hate it, but it's kind of going in and out. For some reason, it says it's off air still. I don't know what that means.
Uh-oh. We might. Do you have your laptop or iPad with you?
I have my iPad.
Let's switch it to the iPad. Let's see what that does. Want me to send a notification again?
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know why it says that.
I can email it to you. You want me to email it to you and you click the link, or you want me to send you a notification?
Either or doesn't work. It doesn't matter. I'm not sure if I even have it on my iPad. So let me pull it up.
Okay.
Give me like 2 minutes. Just send a notification and I'll log in when I can.
Okay, I will do. All right. All right, you guys. So Charles' phone got chotellaed out there in the party zone. So it's a little fuzzy. But what I'll try to do is get him to pop it up from his iPad. Now, my whole point in this is people say, well, Dave Ramsey's ridiculous. But he's not. The average American, if you read from Charles Oglesby's blog, the average American is in about 8,000 to 20,000 in credit card debt. So many times people will call me and say, Ericka, I've got 20 grand in credit card debt. I think I'm going to just file for bankruptcy. I'm like, 20 grand? You can literally, you could literally just put $1,000 down a month within 16 months or so, some $1,000 in extra, and you would be out of that debt. The problem is many people, they ain't trying to hear that. They really aren't trying to hear about, working an extra job or working a part-time job. For whatever reason it may be, people really are offended when you suggest they work a second job. I don't know why. It just is what it is. But have you guys ever seen that? Charm City Buyer says salary work. It does. I mean, and so if you look at Tisha Campbell and her husband, they did have one rental property. And I thought, oh no, 2. They have 2. But at the end of the day, you guys, like $7 grand and they're 15 million in the hole. In my mind, you use debt to buy assets. So they've got a Range Rover, they got a Jeep Cherokee, and I think another vehicle. And people are like, well, why do they have so many vehicles? If you got kids, if you got a house, I mean, it happens. Some people have 3 vehicles. Crap, I got too many vehicles at this point. I've got I've got a motorcycle and I have, a little toy moped that I'm getting this week coming up. But what happens is people just get into that lifestyle, But again, I'm gonna show his blog one more time because I don't know if everybody got to see it as you came in. There's 169 of y'all in here. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Look at you, brother is back. Okay, everybody, we super chatted Todd a new location. You look sharp.
It's not fuzzy anymore.
Yeah, there you go. Charles is a Billy. So Charles, what we were saying is Dave Ramsey is the first start. I used to tell people in my meetups and things, Dave Ramsey to even Robert Kiyosaki. Now, why did I say that? Because they didn't have any discipline goals. They were very undisciplined. And, they would show me their bank account. Like I ask people on a phone call, I'd be like, okay, this is a consult. I need to see your bank account statement, or at least tell me how much you're spending a month. Or, you got a business, you have QuickBooks. People would have no idea. Charles, they'd be on the phone like, I don't know where my money's going. I don't know how much comes out. Like they'd have thousands of dollars in subscriptions and TV packages. No clue. Because what they're playing is the game of as long as they're working, bills are getting paid. But all of a sudden, when you stop working, all that stuff is like, oh no, it's an emergency. Like I think for Tisha Campbell and her, I think they're probably their thought was all we gotta do is get back on a movie. All of a sudden Tisha Campbell was talking about doing Martin rerun show. Where does that come out of? That comes out of extreme need. So, but go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Um, I don't know. I just I could see how people can get caught up in that lifestyle. My idea is that even if you're making it, you still got to act like you're not making it. And so for me, like that's just how extreme I live. I'm learning that you really do have to get to the extreme if you want to create the financial freedom that you want out of life. And it's not even about wealth. To me, it's about financial freedom. It's about, do you have enough money to say F you to everything? If they start talking to you crazy on the job, do you have enough money so that you don't have to put up with that? And you get there by denying yourself in a lot of ways. You have to deny yourself financially for a lot of ways. And I mentioned those guys who they are the owners of a, and so they have like multiple streams of income. And I mentioned this in the article. So one guy has like 35 to 50 streams of income. Another guy has like 50 streams of income. Another guy has like 150 streams of income. And they talk about how they were driving the ugly car for so long, so much so that they're embarrassed. And I'm finding that, especially cars are like the worst thing you can spend money on. Cars, like, especially if you like go all out and you put a bunch of money into your cars, you're literally just throwing money down the drain. And so when I read that article and it was talking about how they had like two Range Rovers, which everybody knows Range Rovers aren't great cars anyway, that's just an example of them just throwing money down the drain. So I like the idea of Dave Ramsey. I go back to his principles, even like you have to, it's not just like a one time you do it and you're done, because you might get into a situation where you might get a little bit of credit card debt. So you got to go back to the baby steps. You got to go back to making sure your emergency fund, all that stuff. So I think that all those are tools in the belt. I definitely am a fan of both Dave Ramsey and Kiyosaki. Kiyosaki for the building, and then Dave to stop digging. So yeah.
Well, the thing of it is reason I say I say Dave Ramsey before you Robert Kiyosaki, because what happens is people will do what? They'll get a rental. I mean, I even see a guy with a truck. I'm not going to name his name, but he's one of the guys who took the class. He's got a truck. Homeboy's on a vacation every weekend. Now, what happened? He got a truck. Trucks are rolling on the road. It's making money, but guess what he's doing with that money? Exactly. Lifestyle creep, and I ain't hating, but I was like, brother, let's get two trucks before we start. We ball out every weekend, like the girl would love to ball out, but there's a time and a place for everything. There's a season to things, right? Even when it comes to, I think I did a video, I don't know how long ago, but I was naming off streams of income. I think I named off 20 different kinds, right? Within that range. And people are like, dang, but that's how it should be. You should have a buffer between you and homelessness, right? I make a drastic thing by saying homelessness, because what I tell people is, if you don't own your own home, let's keep it a buck. If you don't own your own home, or you don't have a mortgage you're paying on, if you're in an apartment and you don't pay in about 21 days, you out. What if you can't go to your mom's? What if you can't go to your cousin? Right? I've seen people stay in houses and not pay a mortgage for a year and a year and a half. And then in the article, I watched the video, the people who stayed in the house, the wife wanted to keep paying up the credit cards, and they hadn't made a mortgage payment in a year and a half. And when it came time, they were like, all right, give us 10 grand and y'all can stay in the house and we'll restructure the mortgage payments. They didn't have it. But they've been in a house for a year and a half with no payments. They should have been stacking like crazy. So there's so many people saying, what's up, Todd Millie, in the conversation. There's 200 people here right now. Thank you all for being here. It must be all West Coast people. Drop your city and state in here so I can see where y'all coming from tonight. Oh, wow. Somebody said they stopped listening to Dave Ramsey. Okay. I mean, but here's the thing. If you're someone who's a school teacher and your husband's making $40K a year, and y'all know y'all gonna have this set income, you're just gonna have this set income no matter what, and you start paying down your debts, at least your cars, that income frees up monthly, because we've talked about cars on here where people have like $500 in car payments,
I feel like in that instance, you have to kind of get what you can get out of each person, because what I'm realizing is that like every teacher out there is going to say something you disagree with. And Dave Ramsey says a lot of stuff. I don't agree with everything he says, especially with investing using debt to invest. Um, just like Grant Cardone says some things that I agree with and some things I don't. I'm not really big on his real estate investing strategy. And so to completely just reject somebody, that's something I don't have the ability to do. Like, I mean, even Gary Vee said something recently. I was like, what are you talking about, Gary Vee? But he still has a lot of value. You got to jump in and jump out and take what you can get out of each person. Even me, I say some crazy stuff, I say some good stuff.
Well, it's called, what I tell people is eat the meat, spit out the bone. It's an old Southern saying for like soup sometimes when they were like thin on meat. It's like, whoops, there's a few pieces of bone in there, just toss it out. And so when someone says something good, I take it for its face value. You know, like I was calling Grant Cardone Uncle G, and people were like, I can't believe you call him Uncle G. I'm like, he's old. He ain't, you know, he's just the uncle, you know. So Ray Gun 34 gave a $5 super chat, and he said, CEO Millie is one of the best Twitter accounts out there. He be out there on Twitter acting up, y'all. Deandra Ingram gave a $2 super chat. Let me see. Okay, we got people from all over tonight. Texas, Virginia, Georgia, Illinois, Georgia, North Carolina, West Palm Beach, Florida, DC, East Coast, late night financial. They call it late night financial. Okay. Mississippi, Dallas, Milwaukee, Atlanta. Atlanta, I'm coming back to you and I'm going to do another meetup pretty soon here. Midwest, Illinois, Baltimore, Boston, Memphis, Raleigh, Seattle. Okay, Seattle, what's up? Detroit, Oakland, California, Oakland, ATL,
Detroit.
DC, more Detroit, Baltimore. You guys are great. Um, You guys are cracking me up. Well, here's the thing. What I was saying is sometimes when people don't make a lot of income, it's easy to pay. It's easy to have a simple goal. What's a simple goal? We're going to pay it down. And if you actually look at Dave Ramsey, the average person, no matter the size of the debt, pays off their debt in 15 months,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty good. And so what happens when your debt's paid off? Now you can do whatever you want with your paycheck. And I think that's a simple concept that people could follow, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next level, the whole Robert Kiyosaki thing, where you buy a debt and it pays, you know, for an asset. Right now, I just hired 5 employees, and it's like, whew, but they're all like internet wise, right? But what I realized is hiring those 5 people is going to 10x my income, right? And so like I got stuck at a level, and no matter who I got on the phone with, Charles, they were like, well, you know what you got to do, right? You got to get these employees. I was like, dang it. Like it was the same answer over and over. It's like you're going to be stuck there trying to do everything yourself because that's not how it works. Um, but what are some techniques you think people can do to gain assets?
I always tell people you got to work with a partner or a team. And I tell them that because it gets the ball rolling for you. I always say that if there's something that you want and you don't have it right now, you're probably missing a partner. And having a partner is not a bad thing because a lot of people, what they don't realize is by going to a bank, you're getting a partner. The bank's getting money out of your deal just like you're getting money out of the deal. And they might be getting a lot more money out of your deal than you're getting in the beginning. So it's like if you are going to pay somebody a portion of your project, why not make it your friends and your family as opposed to making it some dude on Wall Street or some dude in a bank? I feel like that's one of the best things you can do. I always tell people to find the market for the things that you can afford. So if you want to buy a $100,000 truck or a $50,000 truck, and Eric is going to disagree with me here, but I think you can buy the truck that you afford because what's really important is that experience, that track record. I'm at a point now where we've done so many affordable deals outside of the state that people are bringing me the best deals. People are bringing me deals that I never would have gotten if I didn't have experience and track record. And that experience and track record is worth any money that you're going to get because it's going to carry you. I just had a conversation with Rashana Scott. Her first deal, she just put 2,500 bucks in it and made a 15% ROI on that. But that allowed her to now do what she's doing, where she's making great money, has great connections, and she has the experience and the track record. So I would say that people, you have to not necessarily aim at the money, but aim at the process of becoming an investor. I'm going through an issue right now where I'm having to work through an inspection, and it's very difficult, especially being somebody from out of state. But I know that on the other side of this problem is going to be skills. And those skills are going to either allow me to market them as a course or make even more money. So I think that the assets are definitely ready to head. I think that partnering and teamwork is a good way to get there. Partnering with your friends and family is a great way to do it. And if you can't find friends and family who have that mindset, which can be tough, find them on the internet because they're there, and you can find them through any social media platform.
For sure, for sure. Like I was telling people, they were. I think Andre Hatchett was on here. Oh, thank you, Chris Lee TV, for the $2 super chat. Appreciate it.
It's lit.
Um, I see all you guys. DC up in here. Somebody put a UR in here.
You are.
Oakland in here. Oh, ATL, New Orleans. Hello, Durham. More Raleigh. More North Carolina. Salt Lake City. More California. Fairfield. I don't know where Fairfield is, but San Francisco in the building. Uh, Fort Lauderdale. Okay. Um, Zebra said, "How can you screen people for partnerships?" Todd Millie.
That's a good question. Um, it's a very good question, actually. And I don't know because I'm not very good at that.
So I have done background checks on people, and it actually made people very nervous. They actually want to walk away from the truck investment because I was like, "We don't know you. You can be anybody."
Mhm.
And I asked for higher amounts, so my amounts were like 5 or 10 grand. So a smaller amount of partners, and I was like, "If you do something, okay, you might take us all down, baby. We got to check you out." I think if you're checking out partners, I would say go to RIA groups. I would say Google people. Background checks are actually very cheap. People are saying it in the comments. Um, Someone said develop an emergency fund. Yeah, you should always develop an emergency fund. You should have. Here's my thing. You should be. I wrote a book called Ladder Income, but I really believe, Charles, that if people start having, okay, I've got 1,000 in my bank in a CD, I've got 1,000 over here in Lending Club, I've got 1,000 over here, I've got it in several parcels, I've got 1,000 in monthly dividend stocks. Okay, well, all of a sudden, if they have an extra 2 or 3 grand, they're not so pressed about it, right? They can take it and put it somewhere or put it with you, or even if they buy 1 or 2 deals a year with you, so they still have their money working and making returns for them.
Right. I had a conversation with Rashana Scott, and she said something that was really, really profound. And she was saying that when you invest in somebody else's deal, you effectively become somebody that they're accountable to. So now, when you become a part of their deal, they're giving you pictures, they're giving you and they're becoming your mentor. And so he coined the term like mentor hacking. So if you are looking to hack a mentor, there's multiple ways you can do it. You can pay for coaching, which is what some people do. You can buy a course, or you can become a partner in somebody's deal. And I think that that is the way that probably be the best thing because then you're effectively getting paid to learn at that point. I mean, you're helping them, they're helping you. And I think that don't want to really put their money up, but in putting their money up, they're going to get it back with the ROI, plus the ROI on that knowledge.
Oh, for sure. Like I got to sit in a group, an investment group, Charles, and I just sat back and watched. I didn't have the money to invest for the year. I just sat back. They bought an apartment in Huntsville, Alabama. They bought an apartment in Houston. They bought an apartment in Louisiana. And I learned more than enough to be like, oh, I can do my own apartment deal. But I
Right.
love the group concept because what ended up happening is they said, oh, yeah, we're getting ready to invest in a coffee farm in Belize. Do you want to go? That completely perked my ears, and I had the amount needed for that funding opportunity. So June, 25th through 28th, I'm going to go to Belize, right? It's opportunities open up when you get in the room with people who are taking action.
Right.
And
That's a bar.
say it again.
That's an Instagram post.
It does. It just does. Like the whole weekend, we just did a mastermind retreat. And say what you will, I'm gonna get Charles and all these different people in mastermind retreats at some point. We literally got in a room, Charles, within the first day. I think the second day there, technically, we put together a course. We put together events. We had the calendar packed out. We recorded video the second day. It was a wrap. Like there was so much action being taken. Everybody on Saturday was like, "Woo, we're gonna take a rest. We're just gonna rest today." And it was funny because my level of thinking I'm doing a lot of work. They were like 10x. Kendra's 10x. And then Kiera be like in between that, but Kendra be like, okay, schedule, schedule. And so what you learn when you get in a room with other people who are doers you can do a self-assessment on how much you think you're doing a day. Like,
Right,
I do
right,
so much. You're like,
right,
It,
right.
so Tiffany Keller said, how do you learn about investment groups? I mean, you're learning about them right now. You got Todd Capital. We have Money Madou. He's got Black Seed Fund Group. You know, you see a lot of people on here that I bring on the channel talk about their investment groups.
Right. I think you also just gotta do your Googles.
Yep.
So and getting out there and doing your own research, I mean, there's so much information. If it's not on Google, it's on YouTube. If it's not on YouTube, it's somewhere. And so I think that information is out there. You might have to read some boring stuff. You know what's interesting is Warren Buffett, his first company was an investment group. It was I forget, it was like a partnership. And so everybody
Hmm.
came in there partners and he just managed the fund for them. And that's how we got to start. So the more I do and dig into group investing, the more I find out that like everything was a group investment in some form. Um, that's kind of what antitrust litigation was put in place to stop. Is these companies would group up and they form a trust and they would just dominate the market. And then each company that participated in that trust would then get shares in that trust. And so they were like, "Nah, we got to break this stuff up. Like you guys can't just dominate the market and take advantage of people because it works." And that's why I tell people like it literally works. It's equality. It's everything people are looking for is in a group. That's all it is. It's a group. If you're not working in a group, you're probably going to be losing somewhere. I mean, Eric, you made so much progress in less than 6 months by working with other people.
Yeah. Literally, I went from one truck to technically six, but you know, we talk about the four that you guys see. Uh, you know, the four groups
But
like
think
that.
about it. There are people who don't that live their whole life and don't even get to one truck, and you have six in less than 6 months. If you are on this channel and you're struggling trying to get started, if you're like, how do I do it? The problem is you're thinking about you. It's like Jim Morrison says, there's opportunity in creating opportunities for other people. So don't look at yourself. Look at other people. How can I help them get what they want? And you're going to ultimately get what you want. It's like the quote says, it's a Ziegler quote. You get anything you want in your life if you help other people get what they want. So,
Yeah. You help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, this is very true. Like, even in my YouTube channel, people are like, how is it growing? How is it getting 12,000, you know, subscribers all of a sudden? I go, I literally come on here, answer you guys' questions, bring on great people, talk about investing, something that's boring according to YouTube. You know, I'm not talking, I don't walk around in a bikini. I ain't got the girls out, you know, I'm not doing anything flashy, but that's just it. I know as the economy shifts, y'all need this information and y'all will be here. You know, that I just know that. Um, Todd Millie, they put equals bars. Todd Millie equals bars. Uh, uh, someone said, Todd Millie or Erica, what do y'all look for in a partner?
I look for somebody who has the right mindset. And the way I'm starting to realize this a lot about a lot of people is there's two different kind of people. There are people who find a way and people who find an excuse. And so what I'm finding is that in in investing, you got to find somebody who looks through obstacles because you're going to run into them. You have to find somebody who sees fear and does it anyway because you're going to run into some scary situations. So for me, I'm not looking for somebody who has the money. I'm looking for somebody who has the right mindset because the mindset is going to open up the door to everything we're trying to accomplish. So I feel like that's the most important thing. I've done this for a while. And when we started, they struggle to see the bigger picture. They struggle to see the vision. And so I think that somebody who can see the vision is somebody that kind of speaks to mindset as well, because it's a long game. We're building generational wealth. We're not building money for the moment. If we're building money for the moment, we can go out there and do a bunch of flips. So for me, it's like the mindset is the most important thing. That's what I'm looking for. Is like, do you get it? Do you understand what we're trying to do? And are you willing, if you don't get it, are you willing to be coached? Are you willing to be taught how to see things, how we're supposed to see them, and if we're going to really win financially? Because I deal with a lot of people who they're like, when we getting paid? When can I get the money? And you can kill a whole deal with a short term mindset. You can kill a whole project with a short term right now mindset. So I think the mindset is the most important thing. And if you don't have the right mindset, you might need to read some books because everything I talk about it comes from a book. I don't make any of this stuff up. Literally, I've read all the Warren Buffett books, all the Peter Lynch books, all the Jim Cramer books, any book that you can read, any book on real estate investing, and they all say the same thing. So if you don't have the mindset, you might have to listen to some podcasts. You might have to listen to other investors and see how they're doing things. I think that the most important thing is the mindset.
See, what's funny is someone just asked that question. What books does Todd Milley read, right? What are your favorite books of all time? And so Todd just dropped some books, but drop some more. Sure, drop some more books.
Favorite books of all time. There's so many. We want to for that. That's like the GOAT. Literally, the GOAT. It's a foundation of everything.
Hold on. You froze.
Another really good book is me.
You froze. Sit back in the seat where you were.
Oh, I froze.
You were doing good in the seat you were in. Okay, let's see.
My leg fell asleep.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
So, favorite real estate book is A Millionaire Real Estate Investor.
Mm-hmm.
A book people have to read is Millionaire Fast Lane. That's a very good book. You also have to read Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. It's another really good book. Richest Man in Babylon. I feel like anything with like real estate or the word rich or the word millionaire is usually going to be pretty good. Man, there's so many outliers. Anything by Gladwell, anything by Seth Godin. There's so many really good books out there. The book Tribes is a really good book. Man, Outliers is a really good book. I think everybody should read Outliers.
The 4-Hour Work Week was before Gary Vee. I feel like the 4-Hour Work Week was like the cornerstone, and people still don't even know what it is. Like the 4-Hour Work Week was like, you don't have to stay right here in this place and work 40 hours a week. We fill our own time. And
I think the 4-Hour Work Week is really what inspired real estate, long distance real estate investing, because he talks about location independence. And so one thing I tell people, what we do is, since we live in a high cost of living state, the goal is to hedge the high cost of living by investing in low cost of living states that then allow us the income to afford to live in a high cost of living state. So it's like what I call um, lifestyle arbitrage, basically. But yeah, 4-Hour Work Week is a great book. I haven't read Tribe of Mentors, but 4 Hours definitely got to read that one.
There's so many. Here's the funny part. When I was moving from place to place, I had these 2 boxes that were super heavy. And the movers were like, hold on, we're going to break these boxes up. So they open them up and it's nothing but books. They're like, oh, what, you in college? I'm like, nah, just these are books. You know, you read books. And it was funny because it was that face of like, oh, you smart or something, you know? And it was kind of funny because it's like, books should not be such an abnormal thing that movers are like, what's in these boxes? Books? Like, that's crazy to me, right? I think someone asked, is it reasonable for them to buy in North Carolina despite living in Alaska? Yeah. All right, we lived in Alaska, from North Carolina. I mean, here's the thing. It's as hard or as simple as you want to make it. Like, I could come on here and say, call you up a realtor, or part 2, call you up a bunch of wholesalers, get you a contract going, get in the marketplace, have it, get a property manager, buy, you know, boom, boom, boom. I could tell you go call a mortgage broker. Kareem, I bring Kareem on the channel all the time. And, you know, it's as simple as hard as you want to make it, honestly.
Right.
But Charles, you can tell them, how do you buy properties out of state? Or
it's like Nipsey Hussle said. He said technology has empowered all of us. And I think that you have to use technology to your advantage. And I think one of the biggest advantages for me is just using a site like Redfin or Zillow. You can literally get a property tour just by going on Redfin or Zillow. You don't have to call anybody. You don't have to talk to anybody. You can see the trend. You can see what it sold 4 years ago. You can see what it's selling for now, what the asking price is. You can see the neighborhood. You can see the homes in that market. You should look at as many homes as you can look at. You're going to have to put the time and the effort in. I think a lot of times people are looking for that magic bullet. The magic bullet is the work. And so for me, we looked for homes for so long to the point where when we saw a deal, like, this is a deal. We knew it made sense. This is 100% a deal. And it doesn't even have to be just in your market. We had looked all over the country. So that when we did find something and we landed in the spot, we also knew that was a deal as well. So I think you can't be married to one concept. You can't be married to the concept of investing in North Carolina. You got to be married to the concept of investing where it makes sense, and utilizing technology to your advantage, utilizing social media to your advantage, talking to people, putting yourself out there. Um, you got to talk to people. But there's definitely, I mean, any website you can go on is going to allow you to search property, look at pictures, and look at the market and see how far it is from major attractions, how the schools are. One thing we used to do is we would always look at Trulia, because Trulia gives you a crime map. Every site doesn't give you a crime map, but Trulia does. And so you'll look at the property and see how it ranks in crime by color. And if it's a high crime area, you might want to be more strategic. I'm not even going to say avoid it, be strategic. If it's a low crime area, then you might have a home run there. But I think that it's really just utilizing technology to your advantage. That's the key.
So what I would recommend for people, they're like, she said, basically you're buying sight unseen. You can hire people. You literally can go on Craigslist, hire a contractor, go on Thumbtack, get them to drive by, do a live on their phone via the camera on their phone to show you this property.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Right.
there's something about us that we want to touch it, we want to see it, we got to look at it, we want to flip it over, touch it some more, then turn it back over. Like it's like it's. I bought properties with. I even say I bought properties with Andre Hatchett and Charles sight unseen. Sent my money over, kept it moving. Why? Because it was a piece of a deal. I wasn't the main person managing the deal. I wasn't the person finding the deals. I mean, a lot of times we're creating problems in our mind or creating hurdles to what we need to do.
Right.
That's the main thing. I
That's the
feel like we're
mindset.
adding hurdles.
The thing is when's the last time you bought Apple stock and drove by Apple headquarters to make sure that it was still there? People that trust the process. And I think you do have to leverage people as well as technology. And so for one of the things we did is before we bought the property, we got in contact with a mentor. We got in contact with an investor that was in that market. There's an investor making money in every market that you can think of. And so I was telling people, I went on Facebook and I said, hey, who here invests in Detroit? Somebody said, I invest in Detroit. He owned 14 properties. This is after me hearing people on like different podcasts saying, well, I own like 25, 30 properties out here. So like it kind of seems like this might make some sense to buy some stuff out here. And so he went and saw the property. So you're actually getting a more qualified opinion than yourself. If you're a newbie investor, you can't even trust your opinion. You might go see it and look over complete problems. So it's like, who are you to say, oh, I can, like, you're still gonna have to hire an inspector. You're still gonna have to depend on somebody else. So I think that a lot of people, they kind of forget that real estate investing is a business. And as an entrepreneur, it's your job to get things done through people. So that means you need to put your team in place. You got to get the realtor, you got to get the inspector, you got to get your property manager, you got to get all that stuff in place, your contractor, and you depend on them. You're not the expert. And the beauty of that is everybody has a cell phone, everybody has an iPhone, everybody has social media, everybody can send you a picture. So it really, I mean, you're going to limit yourself. If you think that all these things have to line up, you're going to limit yourself. And you're going to be stuck in your market, in your high cost of living market, where you're going to be a renter forever unless you get out of that mindset of thinking you have to touch it, feel it, smell it, see it every other day.
Yeah. And there's one, two people I know who say they don't invest where they live or near their city because they would drive by it all the time. Aisha Stelton's even the reverse. She's like, I like putting it in the backyard of my city so I can drive by when I want. And that there are investors that are like that, but you're gonna have, if you're gonna do that, you need to make sure you can afford to invest in your marketplace. Can you afford your market? Some of y'all can't invest in your marketplace.
But I think that that's the thing is I can afford to invest in my market now,
Yeah.
but I had to get the experience first. I had to get the credibility first. And so now I'm circling back and I'm saying like I do this over here, but I'm trying to build this in downtown LA. I'm trying to build this in South LA. I'm trying to make these things happen. And so I made progress while planning, while preparing myself. I made progress while preparing myself. I think that that's what's most important is are you progressing or are you just going to spend the next 5 to 10 years talking about why you can't do something or why it's too expensive or why it's too hard or all the reasons why you can't.
Well, and also a big thing I noticed here lately is I've had one or two people reach out to me. The guy, so let me tell you this one, Charles. The guy went, got the property under contract, had only 10 grand and was like, Ericka, can you meet me with the other 20 grand? I'll give you half the deal. And I'm like, technically you can't close without my 20 grand. So I would like 60% of that, like, and there's a million ways to do it, right? There's a million
Right.
ways. I'm even putting together a funding course right now, like all the alternative funding. People get so caught up on the interest rate, like, oh, the interest rate higher, could interest rate. You're only trying to secure the property and then either refinance or get partners to break that deal up. And people get so caught up on like each step must be perfect, and it won't be. No matter how, I mean, listen, Charles got multiple properties and one that's probably a headache. So I mean, like, we won't name no names on properties, but you know what I mean? Like but that's how you learn. That's really how you learn.
Right, right.
Okay, let me see. Somebody said, hold on. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Brandon Jackson, for the $5 super chat. Salute to you guys for all this information. I love coming to the channel and learning new things. Thank you, thank you. He said somebody else said lots of gems. Um,
Man, I was a lot of people they criticize the group approach, especially from this approach. And what I realized that it actually is the hack, man. Like doing what you do, Erica, doing what I do, it actually is the way to wealth. I mean, if you look at all these hedge fund billionaires, like they are billionaires and they manage a fund. You look at Warren Buffett, he's a billionaire who manages the fund. Carl Icahn, billionaire, manages the fund. David, I forget the guy's name, but I really realized that like we got to go all in on this fun thing because this is how you really get to it. And we're changing the community in the process. We have a community focused goal in the process. The goal is really to revitalize the entire city. So like that's my goal. We're not just we want to start going commercial. We want to start building up. We want the land really revitalize the community. And that's why we chose that market because it's a blue ocean. If people aren't familiar with that concept, there's two things: the blue ocean and a red ocean. It's another good book. And a red ocean is where there's a lot of competition. That competition ruins the market. A blue ocean is where there's nothing but opportunity there. You might have to create a blue ocean, might have to find a blue ocean. And for me, the Midwest is a blue. Everything else where there's competition driving up the prices is a red ocean, and I'm trying to avoid it.
so red ocean is where there's a lot of competition. Blue ocean is where there's not a lot of competition but opportunity. Um, and then
Right.
you know, I love how even people in the comments are like, why don't she create her own shows? Like, just putting an example back to the original article about Tisha, you know, a lot of stars create their own shows. They put together their own
Yep.
movies. They're directing. They sell it to Redbox. They sell it to Tyler Perry. You know, there's a million things you can do to make money, you know?
Absolutely. Especially these days with YouTube and all that stuff. Like, you don't need to go through a network anymore.
You really don't. I mean, you don't even have to, I mean, like, you don't have to beg anybody, honestly.
Right.
Somebody said Red Ocean is blood in the water. They're like, Killer
Ab-
Mike is doing a lot of investing in ATL. Yeah. So I mean, so for me, I think we overlook locations, and when we overlook them, people get in our backspace. Prime example. What's your thoughts on this? The whole Howard thing. So I kept asking everybody I knew in DC, Charles, what was their thoughts on Howard? How did Howard get all balled up? I said, has this been 5 years, 10 years? They literally said it's been 2 years since everything around Howard was
wow.
really rough and ghetto to now all of a sudden completely all white people and walking through their campus
Mhm.
with dogs and not cleaning up the dog poop. Are you there? Did I lose you?
Um, I'm here. I don't really have a response to that. I don't know. I don't know. I wrote a blog this morning and it was talking about when you invest in the hood, people invest in the hood alongside of you. I think a lot of the reasons why people don't invest in those communities is because they don't want to be the only one and because they feel like people don't care. And I think that it's another instance of priorities needing to be shifted because there's a lot of people out there that are shining, a lot of people out there that have Gucci teeth, but they're not out there improving their community. So there's people out there who have as much money, if not more, but they're not wearing it. They're investing it. They're putting it into places so they can take over what you have. So for me, I don't really know. I don't really have an opinion on that because I haven't really dug enough into it. But it's interesting to see, but it's not uncommon Because if you can look anywhere, it's happening in South LA. It's going to eventually happen in Detroit. It's where else is it going to happen?
Nashville, Tennessee,
Yeah, maybe
Chattanooga,
Houston's
Tennessee.
next.
Yeah,
So
Chattanooga, Charlotte,
I think
Raleigh.
people, I tell people that like even gentrification is a team sport. If you were to look at all the people that are buying up in that area, it's not one guy who just said, I'm going to make this great again. It's a lot of people who went to the planning meeting, they saw where the path of progress was, and they started cooperating with other people. Gentrification is a team sport, so you have to combat gentrification with the team. You can't combat gentrification as an individual with a sign. So I think that we have to be strategic, we have to be thoughtful, and we can't just be out here living for the moment and then wonder why we're getting hoodwinked because we're not putting value on our HBCUs, or you have Dr. Dre who's out here funding USC. Like, that doesn't make any sense. They have enough money. They have enough money, bro. So it's like that money could be going to protect schools. So I mean, Floyd Mayweather, all these people have all this money, but I don't even really, I don't throw it on the athletes. I think that we as a community, there's more of us than there are of them. We actually discussed this on the podcast. So there's actually more non-accredited people than there are accredited people. So that means that non-accredited people actually have more power than the accredited people. We just tend to want to put all the emphasis on having LeBron James save us. LeBron James has already shown he's not going to save anybody. I mean, he is saving people, but he's not, in my opinion, he's not doing what I think Magic Johnson did, which was, I think, paradigm shifting. Magic Johnson kind of was a Nipsey Hussle before Nipsey Hussle. And that's kind of where I got the whole concept of investing in the inner city. Is I read his book, The 32 Business Principles, and that's all he talks about is how people told him, you can't make money in the hood, you can't make money in the hood. And so people think this. They think you can't make money investing in real estate in the hood, so they don't invest around Howard. They think it's a dead investment. They're over there trying to get into Austin, Texas, or getting into downtown LA. And you can make money investing and redeveloping Howard for the people instead of investing for the outsiders to come in. So it's I think we have to really sit down, and that's one of the things we're working on. So as you guys, people that probably don't know this yet, we're working on a massive BlackerPockets real estate investing conference in Atlanta, Georgia. So it's going to be the biggest real estate investing conference in the nation. We're really trying to put that down. Working with Shauna Scott, of course, working with people behind BlackerPockets. It's going to be great.
Oh, when we doing this? We doing this year or next year?
It's gonna be. It should be in October of this year. I don't want to put it off because if you put it off, it might not get done.
Gotcha.
I hate putting off stuff.
Okay, listen, I'll be the first person to buy a sponsored, I guess, banner or ad or
That'd be cool. Yeah, you
keep
can
you
do a
posted.
little
I'll sponsor.
do some on-site shows and whatnot. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I'll sponsor. I mean, we're gonna do it. Let's do it. Let's do it big.
One of one of the people. There's a lot of people out here who are worried, like they're trying to figure out, like, should I start doing? Should I start investing? One of the reasons why you have to become a doer is you get in circles with doers. Before we started really taking action and building our clubs and building out stuff, like I just was around friends and family. And now I was thinking about this. I told somebody, I was like, man, if you look at the investment club, like you got Ericka in the investment club, you got Andre in the investment club, you have all these dope people. I was like, I don't think we really appreciate the impact of the things we're doing now in this moment, but later on we will. So it's like people who are watching this, you got to do, because you're exposing yourself to a whole new circle of people who are doing. Those people want to be around.
So I love that. I mean, like seriously, you want to have more doers, you got to be around doers. Point blank. Period. Kendra is. What's up, Kendra Barnes in the chat? Just to be funny, Kendra, I was telling them earlier before you came on that we had a mastermind retreat, and I think I work really hard, but I get there, Kendra and them up in the morning trying to do all the work, and then Kiera doing some of the work. I'm just messing with Kiera, and then I'm in there too. But what happens is you kind of see the level of what it takes to have things run smooth, to have things work out, to have systems in place. And you got to be open to actually receiving feedback too, right? You get in a room with a bunch of doers, you're like, nah, I want to do it this way. Well, it's kind of like you got to receive some feedback a little bit, just a little bit, right? Charles laughing because he's like, I don't want to hear none of that. You get shut your mouth and roll with it. But at the end of the day, I always feel like it's a great. I'm talking about not necessarily in big groups, but like in a smaller mastermind group of people. You get that feedback, and so Charles is like, "Hey, I'm gonna do a BlackerPockets real estate conference in October in Atlanta. Well, what's up? Let's go ahead and raise these dollars. Let's get this location. Let's get these sponsors on. You know, it to me is that simple, and that may offend people, but it really is that simple. It's like, if y'all serious and y'all got a location, I'll buy a sponsor banner ad or some kind of online ad or whatever. You know, I'll be there, because it really starts. The best investment you can ever make is in people. That's just point blank period. And I think Grant Cardone is the prime example of that, because what he did is I think he's 300 million from being a billionaire or something to that effect. And so he started with this fund, and he raised $181 million in like 10 months with non-accredited investors. So you got people who are non-accredited throwing them dollars. And I think people overlook the power of push and like a group pushing to do something. So, oh, and the funny thing too about it, Charles, I know you're going in and out, your internet tripping, but I see you now. I see you. The big thing of it is, when you realize you start doing, there's very few people who are doing. There's a lot of people stunting on the gram. There's a lot of people credit carding it, but there's not a ton of people who are investing and buying and doing. Even in Detroit, you probably run across people who, while I was in Detroit at one of the meetups, all the investors were from out of state, right? Like, there were 2 people in the room who owned like 50 properties because they were buying in their own backyard, but everybody else was from New York. They were from other places. George Hernandez said in the comments, Charles, that I need to come to California. I will be coming to California. I've already told y'all my dates. July 6th through the 12th. July 6th through the 12th. I have to hit Oakland, and I have to hit Los Angeles. So, I'll let you guys know more details as I get them.
You have to plan a meetup when you're in LA. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So that's the California time link. Okay. So yeah. Let me see what else. What other questions y'all got for Charles Oglesby while you up in here? Bring them on. Bring them on. So what made you choose Atlanta for bigger Blacker Pockets event?
It was actually Rashana Scott's idea, and I forgot the rationale, but I support it. I think that, the community there is very African American oriented. I think that's one of the reasons why. Plus, we have a lot of people out there who we know that are doing big things in Atlanta, and I think that it also kind of exposes to the East Coast. So it's not like we're saying, no, we're going to do it in LA. So you're pretty close to everybody on the East Coast, up and down the coast, and then also kind of close to Texas as well. Kind of, not really.
Like literally a hop on a plane to Atlanta is less than $200. People do it all the time here.
Right.
From
and it's kind of like the Mecca. Until we make Detroit the Mecca, it's the Mecca. My goal is to make Detroit the Mecca, though. The new Mecca, the second Mecca, Mecca Junior.
So there's a couple questions. One said, "What drives you? What drives you?"
I don't know.
No, you need to do the Soldier Boy. I want to be a
billionaire. Honestly, I don't really even know. I think it's really just how I was raised. I was raised to go get it. So I guess that's kind of what drives me.
Okay. Let me see. Kamoy asked, Miss Tech Writer, course, Kamoy, but I want to know how he manages his job and all his investments.
That's a good question. I would say that rental properties run themselves. I was having a conversation with somebody, and I was like, I forgot we even have these things. A lot of people are so afraid of managing rental properties because people tell you that it's scary than it actually is. And so I would say that one thing I do, is I usually, in order to get to work, I have to be down by 5 o'clock in the morning. 5 o'clock, my time, is 8 o'clock East Coast time. So I make sure I just hit everybody up on that hour that I'm driving from point A to point B. So I make a bunch of calls in the morning. If I got to call the city, I got to call the city at 5 o'clock my time. If I have to call the contractor, call them at 5 o'clock my time. So I do a lot of that. That helps. We utilize a lot of technology and apps. So we have Stessa, which helps manage the equity side of the investments. And we also have another property management software that manages the property management side. So it's tech and time management, I think, would be how. And I don't have a lot of bullshit time. I don't watch TV. I literally, like, if I'm watching anything, it's something educational. So I don't bullshit. I don't take weekends. I don't take evenings for gratitude. So I'm always doing something that's progressive. And I think that that's how you do it. Is you got to punt a lot of that social stuff. You got to punt a lot of leisure.
Listen, I'll tell on myself. I watch very little TV. You know, people be in here. And what I end up doing is I would cram it to Friday through Sunday because that's when most people who have a job are going to hang out anyway. So I do my Sunday brunches with people. I go to church, do the Sunday dinner thing, Sunday brunch, Friday night, get my little dinner dates going on Friday nights, Saturday, you know, hang a friend. I would cram them in there and you know, Andre Hatchett was laughing at me one time. He's like, "You got a date every Friday?" I'm like, "No, that's when I plan it in my schedule." So I just be like, "Well, you know, my schedule. See me on
Mm,
Friday, right?" And you have to plan your life. I keep telling y'all this on this channel, but I don't think y'all believe me. Like, you have to plan your life, or your
right,
life will run you. You
right.
know what I mean? The reason I'm able to travel so much to these conferences and these events is I pulled out a calendar. I have multiple. This is just one of them. Um, and I planned out the whole year. This is just one of the three. And I sat there and go, this is the major things we're doing. You see behind me, there's a calendar on my wall, a full wall calendar. I have Sharpie pens. I go on and write where I'm going, when I'm going places. You guys have to be planning your life. You can't say, well, Ericka, I want to buy a rental property this year. When? What timeline? You have to put dates on those things because if there's no date on it, it's really just a dream, you know?
Right.
It's a wish kind of thing.
What I like to do also is I love whiteboards. Um, if you look at my office, I have like multiple whiteboards. I have a really, really big whiteboard, and I just write stuff down. I try to write my goals down on the whiteboard. So they always say, like, can you write something down? You're more than likely going to accomplish it. So I write down a lot of stuff on my whiteboard.
I love it, love it. So somebody said, will I be at VidCon? Yes, I will be at VidCon for at least 2 days to meet with other YouTubers, but I am making a big plan to stop in Oakland. There's several YouTubers who have moved to Oakland, people y'all might know. Charles, how long ago did you start investing in real estate out of state is what somebody asked.
I think it's been about almost 2 years now, maybe a little bit longer, but we've been looking for longer than that. Originally, we started looking in state. We were trying to find deals in state, um, and we kind of shifted away from that. And then we started looking out of state and started looking in like Atlanta. And then once Atlanta got a little hot, we were just like, hey, let's just find something affordable where we can find something, and we landed where we landed. So it's been I think almost 2 years, maybe a little bit more around that time. It's not, it hasn't been forever, but I would say that we've ramped up a lot faster than, well, we've ramped up. We've done pretty good for what we've been doing, but the things we have access to now, like when we first started, all the resources we didn't have. I couldn't just tractor. I literally was scrambling trying to find somebody I could depend on and getting crazy numbers and getting like, it just wasn't what it is now. Now I literally, like, he knows our portfolio better than we know it. And so I think that is a huge advantage that most people don't have, and you get that once you start really taking action and taking making motion. I mean, the tenants call him directly now, so it's a really cool thing, and it's only going to grow and improve. So like our goal is like, where are we going next? What's next? What are we doing next? So
Delegation is important. So Billy Jackson, yes, I will be literally in Chicago the week after I'm in California. So Chicago, the 12th through the 19th. I have meetings and video recordings and a conference
look at my
while I'm
waves.
there. So, huh?
I said, look at my waves. I'm trying to grow some waves in.
Oh Lord, him and the waves, y'all. Him and the waves. Um. Anyway, so the biggest question is, what's your motivation?
I think I do want to be like Soldier Boy. I don't know. I I don't. I just I don't know. I don't
I
know my
will say
motivation.
this. What motivates me, like today, I was making a joke on Instagram Live. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but I was like, I went into the bank. I was just in a regular old white t-shirt, it was a little bit buttoned up, and blue jeans and sneakers. I go to the counter. I'm like, hey, I want to deposit this money. I got 6 grand. I want to put it in the bank. Oh, in cash? Yes, in cash. Give it to her. She's like, I'm gonna put it through the count machine. Like, of course, no duh. You're gonna put money through the count machine. So she's counting it. It's making the noise. And the girl she's training beside her, she's like, Miss Williams, what else do you want? I was like, I need a cashier's check for $47,000 and some change. The girl is like, did you say $4,000? I said, no, I said 47,000. So she's like, well, ma'am, there's a $5 cashier's check fee. And I'm like, okay, like $5, all right. And the girl who's training her and letting the money count, she puts her hand over and she goes, honey, whenever they have a cashier's check over 10 grand, we waive the fee, right? Like, she's like, Miss Williams, do you want anything to drink? Because usually every Frost Bank has a little refrigerator. And I said, well, what's in your refrigerator right now? She's like, oh, there's nothing. I'm so sorry. I'm like, well, I want a Dr. Pepper. She's like, well, I'm gonna have to go in the back to get that. I'm like, I would like a Dr. Pepper. So she goes in the back to get the Dr. Pepper and brings it back. I literally start drinking it while I'm there. Like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? And there was a black security guard to my right, and he nods, and I'm like, you know, like, it's just funny because I'm saying that in a petty way, a petty story, but it's because business owners can look any shape, form, or fashion. And every time I go in that Frost Bank, it's either a Hispanic guy or a white guy who's painting, construction, whatever, coming in there with checks. So you can't assume what people's money look like. I'm on this show here, and what's funny is I go, hey, anybody want to invest in trucks? People from all over the country have been like, hey, I got 10 grand, what's up? Some of these people ain't never put one comment in the chat and we're willing to invest. And so what we have to stop doing is first stop assuming what money or business looks like. It can look like anything, right? You know?
Before you go on to the next point, I want to say that it speaks to one of my principles, which is that business is the equalizer. And I made this point where there's a young man, Spurgo. I always talk about him. He started his clothing company. He made $10,000 in 1 month. And on one hand, we say, okay, made $10,000 in 1 month, but a kid his age would have to work a whole year to make $10,000 part-time. And I say it's the great equalizer because if you do the math and you look at like what his hourly wage would have looked like, it might have been like $100 an hour, maybe more. And so people are out here protesting for wages when they need to just start a business. They're out here protesting for a raise when they need to just start a business. Business is the equalizer because what happens is then you're just fulfilling needs. And needs don't care about what your skin color is. People are hungry, they're hungry. They're not looking for a white burger, they're looking for a burger. They're not looking for white clothes, they're looking for some damn clothes that's gonna keep them warm.
I'm looking for some tacos.
So, right, they're looking for a truck that's gonna pull their stuff from point A to point B. Yep. I think that's you have to fill needs, not get people to like you. So business, in my opinion, is the great equalizer. It's going to get you the wage you want. It's going to get you the lifestyle you want. It's going to get you the community that you want. Is by creating solutions, and we used to do that. Somehow we got away from that. Got into this whole focus, and I think that's why we're losing. And if we could just completely abandon the job focus and only run towards business, all our problems will be solved. 100%, all our problems will be solved. So I'm actually about to die, and I'm actually about to get to my train station. But I appreciate you guys for having me.
Thank you. I know it's been crazy with the static and stuff, but thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you for writing that article too. I think it's important.
Cool. Check us out. Check out the store, gumroad.com/Todd Capital. Also, check out the podcast, Todd Capital Millionaire Podcast. Check out the blog, capitaltodd.com. You can, if you're interested in the investment club for stocks, real estate, email membership at capitaltodd.com. Thank you.
Love it. Love it. I'll put your links in the comment. Thank you, Charles, for coming through. Appreciate it. But yeah, you guys, listen. Tisha Campbell is just an example of, she's a bigger example because we're seeing the number like $200 in your bank account and 15 million in the hole. But think about your everyday person that's got $100,000 in credit card debt, $50,000 in student loan debt, and they only make like 50K a year. I mean, people are doing the same thing, but on a smaller level. And so it's hard for, you know, even in the article, Charles Oglesby is talking about, if you go, I'll even share it so I don't just misquote it. But I definitely want you guys to go check out his article. The reason I keep saying Grant Cardone and Dave Ramsey are going to be making bank because people keep doing this on different levels. So again, in this article, he talks about it. People buy stuff, people pawn stuff, people do all kind of crazy mess, right? Again, talks about Yeezys, talks about the fact they have a Range Rover. it's a lot of different things in here that I thought was funny. But the average of credit card debt in America is $5,000. 55% of credit card users don't always pay in full. 83% of all adults have at least one credit card. The average credit card per person is 3. If you guys don't know, baby boomers and Gen X have the most debt. I was driving by the bank and saw a sign for soccer camp. No, what was it? Sports camp loans. Now, you know, I've been talking about how the traveling sports industry is making all this money off of kids, people's parents wanting their little Jimmy and little Billy to be on a sports team. And so, of course, there's the bank offering a loan for you to put little Jimmy in a sports team, even though you can't afford it if you got to take a loan. That's the stuff that people don't understand. So again, if you guys try to reach me on Facebook, the best way for you to reach me is here on YouTube. Put your questions in the live chat. If you try to get in the DMs, I'm going to be like, hey, here's the consult link. Don't take it personal. Yeah, it's hockey mom investing. That's what the banks are doing right now, making a killing off of hockey moms. So why Grant? Because Grant Cardone's only $300 million from $1 billion, and he's doing non-accredited investor investing, and he's raised $181 million in 10 months. And now it's really gonna, it's gonna pop off. He's gonna buy, like, if he buys, I think, I don't know how many number of apartments deals, he'll be at the 300 million that he was needing to be a billionaire. So, it's really just that. Let me see what else I got. Invest in stocks with a group. Yep. Check out Black Seed Capital. Yep. Deidre said, I'm really referring to financial barriers as a people not wanting to give us a fair shake when pursuing a deal on a property. 9 times out of 10, if you got the money, you got a fair shake. I kid you not. Like, it's rare that people even know your race until you get there. Again, I say that, but my last name's Williams. So. Oh, somebody asked me about stop relying on politicians. That's very true. Okay, what else you got here? Don't judge a book by a cover. For sure. Woo child, you travel nonstop. I really am. So again, I'm gonna wrap this up. We've been here an hour and I think 9 minutes. So I'm gonna wrap this up. There's 245 people in here. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Any other little bit of questions y'all got, throw them in there while I'm reading off these dates. All right. So what is the schedule for Miss Ericka Williams this year for events or where you might see me? Here we go. Are you ready? May 18th, I'll be in the DC, Baltimore area, or DMV, however you say it, for the VIP meetup Mastermind. I'll have a whole video on that later, okay? Then the next one is going to be June 29th in Baltimore meetup with Charm City Buyers. June 25th through 28th, I'll be in Belize looking at a coffee farm. I'll try to do some videos from there. Next one after that is July 6th through the 12th. I'll be in California. While I'm in California, I will be at VidCon for some of the days, and then I will also be in Oakland and LA. So we will try to do a meetup while there with Charles Oglesby or whoever I can grab in those areas. July 12th through the 19th, I'll be in Chicago. I'll be at 2 different events. So I'll try to squeeze in the end of the week or the middle of the week a event somewhere in Chicago, somewhere. Okay, what's my other one? Oh, and September in DC, some kind of special event coming soon. And then October, since Charles Oglesby announced it here, in October I'll be at ATL, the BlackerPockets Real Estate Convention. Sounds like a plan to me. So, Maurice, do I offer the trucking course? The Hood Estates trucking course link is always in the comments below. You can always check it out. JT said a lady and her got into an argument because she said summer camp comes every year. So why not start in September saving for summer camp? Damn. Listen, you know, that's so much truth. Like when people tell me, Ericka, I can't afford to go to college, I go, well, colleges have a payment plan. Or summer school, like it'll be community college. It'll be like a $1,000 course. I'm like, you can do a payment plan until your class starts. People go off on me so bad when I say that. So how could I set up a meeting with you and Todd? You can grab a consult link from me, or you can grab a consult link from Todd Millie himself. I'll put it in the comments. Thank you for putting the link. Oh, look at y'all putting them links in there. Thank y'all so much. What's the definition? I'm not going there. If you, Terry, and Kier, and other young lady who retired from the government, and cousin Nita start housing masterminds, that would be awesome. Geo, that's one of the masterminds. I have May 18th. It'll be in the DC, Baltimore area, DMV. I'll get more details to you guys. Essentially, it's a one-day, 6-hour event. Don't miss it. May 18th coming up here. Also, if you're, Charles Oglesby, it sounds like it's going to be a big, but October, Atlanta, Blackerpockets convention. I think that sounds cool too. Anyways, look, you guys, it's been awesome. About 500 of y'all been in and out this whole show. I thank y'all. You guys are amazing. Black Coin 2, go check out some of our previous videos. We've done countless videos on investment groups. All right, you guys. Have an amazing night. This is your girl, Ericka Williams from the Classy Climb blog. If you don't know where to check me out, you can grab this book on Amazon. It's the Smartphone Millionaire book. How to invest in people, businesses, and real estate from the palm of your hand. Edition 2 will be out sometime, probably by the time we go to October Atlanta Fest. So anyways, you guys, have a great day.